suitable for people under the age of 18. It contains coarse language and adult subject matter. The characters on this show are based on fiction and are made for fun and not harm. It's the Sky Genie Show, the worst show ever. It's the Sky Genie Show. He will probably say the F word right now on YouTube. It's the Sky Genie Show. The Sky Genie Show.
Oh yeah, audio equipment failing, there's traffic in the background. It's the Sky Genie Show, yes, the Sky Genie Show, the worst show ever. Do people remember this? I bet a lot of you don't. I mean, God, I have to think back to the last time I did an actual show, a podcast. I believe it was 2018 when I last did one. That was a long time ago, folks. No, it was never big time. No, it was never the biggest thing out there. But it was a lot of fun. And I remember doing shows with people like Klondike Bill, Bobby Blades, Bobby Anthem. We had Mike Neon for a little bit. We did shows with the WNC guys. Shout out to Papa Dave Sensei, who sadly passed away. So in tribute to that man. But we also had Johnny Florida on a lot. Michael Corvin. Old Man Jenkins. There was a lot of them we had on here through the years. But hey, people move on. Yuck Nasty was another one. From Get in the Corner. There were things we did that would probably get us cancelled now. But it's podcasting. You don't really get cancelled in podcasting. Just go to a different platform and be a complete fuckwit. All those people to get fucked. Yeah, with the Sky Genie Show, you're getting everything raw, uncooked, and uncensored. I'm not monetizing this video. I'll probably put it on monetize if it lets me, but I don't believe they allow you to for adult content. And I'll mark it on the thing for kids saying, no, it's not intended for children. This show isn't. It never was. It never will be. So what has brought me out of retirement? Yes, I have been retired since 2018 to 2024. You do the math, I'm not good at it. But I'd never heard of you before. I never listened to you before. You probably never even existed before. Fuck off, mate. Your parents don't love you. And now that I've pissed off the haters and made them go crying to their non-loving parents, let's continue on with the show. I don't know what I'm playing right now as a video. I'm likely playing the Tag Team Terminator match. It's probably my most famous video I ever did. And not saying it was ever big, but it's the most views I ever had for this channel. Now, 2K24 dropped in March, I believe. And okay, I've been a gamer since No Mercy. No Mercy was my first wrestling video game that I ever had. And obviously, so I'm a long time gamer, 24 years per se since playing wrestling video games. Well, this year, and why I keep coming back to it, yes, it's a corporate grab, it's a money grab. No year's been perfect, and a lot of it hasn't been perfect. But this year, the last couple years, as a matter of fact, I've kind of been bullshit. And what I don't see is a lot of podcasters, a lot of these YouTubers out there. Respect to all of them, because I actually do like these people, but what they're not doing is going out there, taking these people to task for producing bullshit, like charging money. And what's fun is we got the Bray Wyatt content coming out. Okay, great, it's coming out. That's great, and I'm all happy for it. But they're making you charge an extra, what, it looked up to be $80. There was like a $10 price, and there was $80 price for a lot of it. Are you kidding me? On top of the My Faction stuff, on top of the online stability issues that you're getting with all these patches, I believe it's the last 5-6 patches. Like I don't know, put the real number down. I don't care. That's all that's been fixed. What they're not addressing is the problems with the game. There's modes on there, there's gameplay, there's everything on there. Universe mode. Most popular modes on the game. On the game, been on the platform, been for years. That mode has been stripped more than any other mode on that game. And it's to the point they don't update it. It's been the same since probably since 2K18. There's been a few differences, a bit of updating. They've changed the nice little fonts around and all that other shit. But the problem is they're not addressing issues with that and everything else with the game, with community creations. You're downloading these wrestlers and they don't have their fucking hair, or the images are going on their knee pads and shit. Like, what the fuck? How about you spend less time focusing on your My Faction shit that nobody gives a fuck about? Okay, that's another rant in itself, and I'm trying to not shit on everything, but we may as well shit on everything. My Faction is a fucking scam. You have all these Persona cards. They give you all the excitement of these Persona cards, but you got to pay an arm and a fucking leg for these things. It's fucking chance. This is a product that we pay for. That they're paying customers, and not only that. Earlier this year, they had the Pat McAfee pack, which was obviously deemed the worst pack ever. And what happened when fans were complaining about it? They had Pat McAfee going on his fucking podcast with his friends, shitting on the fan base. You know, the game's customers. And not only shitting on it, the WWE Games retweets and shares it. What a fucking disconnect these people have. And then you have all these developers going onto these YouTube channels, and shout out to them. And I'm not shitting on them, because you know what, they do a great job. There's Assemble out there, there's Kenny Bomb, there's Smack Talks, there's a whole lot. If I'm leaving your name out, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of you out there, and you do very good content, and I'm a fan of I subscribe to all of them. So make sure you do subscribe to them, because they do good work. What happens is they'll get these developers on their shows when it comes to game time, but then they do ask these questions of what's going on with this mode. But then they go on there and say, "Oh, that's another department. That's another department." When I used to tune in back in the day with THQ. When Brian Williams came on to do a podcast or something, he knew everything about that game. And to say he doesn't know anything about that stuff, there's a My Faction component, and then you hear stuff of Universe mode is the problems with Universe is because it's a different server. It's like, have they just made this game too complicated for people? Like, are you serious? You seriously can't, like, make a game, base it off the exhibition, because let's face it, they wanted to separate exhibition mode from universe mode. That's great. The thing is, you have the option to erase the save data if you screw it up, or you could just delete it. You could just delete the content. So if there's a core or a tag team, say you created a stable tag team, and you can edit this stuff. You created a tag team. Say, it's, I don't know who's in it. There's a lot that's in the game now. So, say it's Xavier Woods and I don't know, CM Punk. You decide to make them a tag team. Just throw those names out there. Try to think of them who's in the current one. But decide to make them a tag team. Whoops! You accidentally put Ryback as the theme song, that's not in this game, but whatever. You could delete it. You can edit it. You can change it. You change it to whatever you want. It's meant to be your fantasy. Like, it's just like little things. They've taken out the interviews in the thing, so you could build the storylines to the matches. And they took away create a story mode, which universe mode would be perfect for. You know, remember back in the day that you could create a story and people could upload these onto community creations. And this was before, like, I could do that because I didn't really afford internet a lot of the times when I had it. I created a storyline, and it was all these scenes of people getting storyline, and you didn't even have to have matches, but like, I thought of it something pretty funny because you could put your own dialogue in there and create your own story. And that was the fun of it. What's happened is, like, and obviously because that was in THQ, and it's, I don't want to make this a THQ 2K thing because 2K do make fun games, but what they're doing is taking the fun out of it and making it a business. And why? It's a wrestling game. Okay, they want to make extra money on stuff, and my faction, and I hate my faction. I really do, because of what it represents. It represents greed, and I don't want to be this person that's all corporate person and stuff like that. But that's pretty much what it is. It's a money grab. And well, here's the thing: you're buying these cards and stuff. It's not going to carry over to the next game. None of this shit on that game is going to carry over to the next game. They're going to be part of the game, free to get. Yes, but then there was DX Persona cards, DX in the last few games. Why isn't that available in the free build? And that became the criticism, and now they're bringing out these Persona cards and trying to build on that. My thing is, okay, if you want to have my faction, great. If you want people to sink money in, great. Maybe make it a standalone game. Make it a standalone game, and maybe give incentives to players that, hey, if you play this, you can put this into your save data, so Persona cards, and make it every year. Because I play a game called DC Universe Online. I've been playing that game for well over 10 years. It's free to download. You don't have to pay to buy the game. Now, there is paid components in the game, not gonna lie. And I'm not against having paid components, but you can also grind it out. Grind it out to level up, fight the bad guys, do all this other stuff. It's a bit of a ghost town now. And but this coming out for content of stuff that's probably only going to be used for the next 6 months, because in the next year or so they just delete the servers to the point it's virtually useless. Why not just make that pack part of 2K25? If you got, if that's the instance, if that's what you're going to do, you want to pay extra, make it a part of the 2K25. But then at the same time, like, it's not fun. and also at the moment, there's people out that's having money issues. People have money issues, and you're expecting them to pay up for this stuff. I mean, fucking hell. It's come to a point where I'm saying, hey, I'm not the way they're treating their fans, their customers. Why would you buy their product? AEW released a video game, and reasonably so. It didn't come out so great with the content and DLC reveals and the pricing of it, and rightfully so. People shit on it. People shit on it to the point, and it deserved every bit of it. And I don't want to make this a tribalism thing, because I know people are going to go, oh, but it's WWE, it's the AEW, shit. Fuck off, mate. Fuck off, mate. And I'll get into the tribalism stuff as well, but, like, this is somewhere where this shouldn't be a thing. You're a paying customer. You're a paying customer. Don't get ripped off by this shit. At all. That's what I'm trying to get to people. Don't get ripped off for bullshit. And this is coming from somebody who's been a lifelong wrestling gamer. I play this to this day. I mean, I fire up no mercy to this day, because you know why? It has replayability. And if I could get all the, because currently I don't have the other games now because I've moved on. I'm actually older too, so it's like, you know, when I'm near 40, I ain't going to be playing a lot of video games all day. But if I had the option of getting the collection, I so would. I'm a wrestling fan, folks. I play video games. I collect the I want to get all the Japanese video games. I got a couple of them here. I had a PlayStation that was overseas and it didn't work, but that's a different issue. See what happened is I bought a imported PlayStation 2. Now, the problem with importing, especially with Japanese ones, you need a power converter. Because we, in Australia and America, produce too much electricity in our system to the point it overcooks them. So, here's a warning out there. If you're buying an imported PlayStation or PlayStation 2 or any game console, make sure you get a power adapter so you don't burn out the fucking console. That's what I did. Yes, I'm a dumbass, but hey, I fucked up. Maybe people out there were thinking about it, and thinking about importing games, which, hey, I recommend you do. And, yeah, so that I do recommend, if you do it, I do recommend you get a power adapter that lowers the surge. Otherwise, you're gonna have a Kentucky Fried console, and it won't be herbs and spices that you'll be crowing about. Anyway, that's gonna be my rant on this game, because I initially was thinking there was gonna be a lot more swearing, but the looks of it, this is going on to about 18 to 20 minute rant. And if you never heard the original Sky Genie Show, I used to do these things within an hour. I now do radio. I do community radio. I want to do commercial, but the problem is commercial radio kind of sucks. Community does too, but communities, I'm a lot more free and creative and stuff like that. And boy, if they would have heard this show. If I could have had this show on the radio, I think it would be well known, because we were very raw, man. And I'll say this, I believe we had Mish from Wrestling Soup on here at one point. I mean, that's how raw we got, and those guys get pretty raw. And I'm going to get into podcasting, but in tradition of what I do at the Sky Genie Show, I have to keep remembering the show because I do a different show now. So essentially, I went on to do the amateur show, which was a radio show out here in Melbourne. So I'm living in Melbourne now. I used to live in a town called Foster Tuncurry. I now live in Melbourne, and it's nice here in Melbourne. It's really great. Now I've survived the shooting. Well, so there was one recently that wasn't so nice, but I survived the shooting. I ruptured an ACL and a few other things. So, and I'm talking about the worst things, but other than that, I'm loving Melbourne. Anyway, so what we're going to do is have a bit of a break. So I do like to divide these things up, because next thing I'm going to get into is the state of wrestling podcasts. Oh boy, do I have something to say about those. All of them. I'm taking the task. So right now, what I'm going to play, what I used to do on the Sky Genie Show and everything, I used to do a lot of gags on the show. Now, I don't really have a lot of gags of those left, so I'll do some of the ones I did on the radio, and really there's one that's called Murder Clause, so here we go. We all know what happens if you're naughty or nice. Hoo hoo hoo! But what happens if you get away with a crime? Hoo hoo hoo, mother! I was found not guilty of murder. I threw my garbage out in the street and nobody noticed. I'm jaywalking.
Hey everybody, I'm Miley Cyrus.
Murder Clause, coming to a cinema nowhere near you. And we are back after that little break. And I'm going to be going into... Do I go into tribalism? Is it really tribalism, or just do I take podcasters to task? And there's a lot of it going on. Yes, I am the same person that goes on and trolls everybody on the fucking Twitter. And usually it's pretty funny. I do not give a shit either way about what I watch on TV, whether it be WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, Ring of Honor, which is now AEW Light. There's so many criticisms of things that I could say about each and every one of them. And let's face it, when the Sky Genie Show was around, AEW wasn't. And okay, so many people, it's so weird how people have gone on with it. I remember all the podcasts at the time when it came out, and this is when All In happened. So I was around for All In, but I wasn't for AEW. When I obviously watched it all, but I wasn't podcasting. So when All In had happened, and there's so many people that they either liked it, hated it, but there was people I remember being in the chat room, and because they did a show that didn't like it, but then I went on and did a review show, and some of us liked the show. Hey, whatever. Each to your own. Some people didn't like it. Some people like it. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. What happened is, this person that didn't like it was going on in the chat area. This is when I was doing, this is during the years of Mixlr. because that I used to do it live all the time. I love to do a live amateur show or amateur show, Sky Genie Show again. I keep going to, as I say, keep going to say the name of the old radio show. I now have a different one, but yes, this one's the Sky Genie Show. Sky Genie Show. Sky Genie Show. Oh, Sky Genie, you ramble on. I sure fucking do. Hope you're enjoying it. I've probably revealed my real name a few times on this. I used to be really good at not doing it, but then I do a radio, as I said, I do a radio show, and sometimes my real name comes out. But this one is intended to be, I'm only known as Sky Genie for this one. So please pay attention. Call me in by my real name, and I'll come to your house, and I will. I'm just kidding. I won't come to your house. I couldn't be bothered. So, and there's something I'll probably rant on that one too. But I guess that's the tribalism part of it. I remember being on. This is part of the trolling, and this guy's going on about facts, and I usually stump people. I stump a lot of people with shit on here. on Twitter, on Facebook, or whatever, and this guy threatened to come fight me, and I gave him the address where you could find me and all. I'm currently got ACL issues, but you can gladly come and fight me, and he never did, by the way. So fuck you, mate. What a pussy. I'll get to the point eventually, folks. But the wrestling podcasters, I remember at the time, it's so weird that nowadays, with these wrestling podcasters, they're all out there making predictions and things going on. And it's not only are they making predictions, but when they're proved to be wrong, they double down more. It's like, for example, the latest TV renewal from AEW, right? Big thing. It was a big business kind of thing. Great for AEW, great for the industry, unless you're against AEW. And let's face it, AEW does have a lot of problems, and I get that. So does WWE for that matter. But you say that and be honest. If you're being honest and you say that, oh no, people pile on you because you're a dog in WWE, and you get fuckwits online that you will trash you about it. Oh, you're only focusing on WWE. Then you do it with AEW. Oh, you're only focusing on AEW. I'm focusing on pro fucking wrestling, so go fuck yourself, mate. Yeah, now go back crying to your loveless parents. But it's the fact these podcasters have to be right. It's the egos. I mean, I was dealing with one just the other day. But, and it's typical. You call these people out on it, and when you stump them, they'll stop talking to you. They'll block you or mute you, whatever, and they'll keep talking about you. Because it got to them, and they make excuses on how they got done by. People, you can be wrong. You're meant to be based on opinion, not fact. You're not news journalists. Oh, there's fucking news journalists out there also. People that claim they are, these Twitter accounts, those Garth ones. There was one that was found it to be as venom, but these people are weird. They have every waking moment, and all they care about is dog it on AEW or dog it on WWE. It doesn't matter. It's both ways. It's not one way. It's both ways. But the problem is there is a difference when it comes to AEW. AEW does watch a lot more wrestling than they do with just AEW. It's the WWE ones, and if they're not associated with WWE, they get shit on. But you see it everywhere with tribalism and the podcasters. So we just had Ricochet come over, and boy was he praised by all the WWE fans. Oh, he could do no wrong, and he comes over to AEW. All of a sudden, he's the worst thing out there. Mercedes Moné, and I will agree, I don't think she's exactly had the best run in AEW so far. I mean, it's kind of left, like, she obviously needs to change, have a bit of a change a little bit. I don't think the gimmick works, in my opinion, but hey, and maybe that's it. How many people have done that? Hulk Hogan went over to WCW with the red and yellow. Sucked, didn't it? Big time. And yet, yes, there's a lot of things about Hulk Hogan you can get into, but he became NWO Hulk Hogan. And if it didn't work for him, per se, it wasn't so great. But then, changed forever. And hey, now the NWO is one of the biggest things out there. But it's not just wrestling fans that are the issue, it's also the wrestlers themselves. These Bully Rays, these Mark Henrys, these Eric Bischoffs, and all these other folks that are going on there trashing it. Yet, if opportunity came and they needed the money, guess where they were going? Mark Henry did. And here's the other thing about that some of these guys came in from WWE, and a lot of them are going back. I mean, they talk about Vince McMahon, how they talk about how great he is, even with all these sex allegations going on with him currently. Mark Henry went on his show and talked about with Janelle Grant, saying how she's a money grabber and all this other stuff, without knowing and saying all these horrible things about it, which I will say, I grew up in a Christian family. I'm not religious. I'll state that, but I know for a fact that Mark Henry is. A religious person like that saying that to another person. And so the next time I question people. I'm not going to question his faith, but then he's gone by that Bible. He's going against that Bible. The fact for him saying that, or because Vince gave him an opportunity. Oh, he gave an opportunity for people. He did so much for the wrestling business. That doesn't excuse sexual assault, folks. Adolf Hitler, one of the biggest bad guys in the world, right, is not a great guy. But then, he did nice things for people too, Not to say that you should worship him. In fact, don't worship these people. Don't worship Chris Benoit for the shit he did. Okay, he had a great career about him, but he's a fucking murderer. He murdered his fucking wife and kid. Selfish piece of shit that guy is. There's no excuse. And I love the guy. I used to be a big fan of the guy. He was my favorite wrestler up until that point. And that's me saying to that guy to go fuck himself for what he did. But back to tribalism. These people need to fuck off. It's little thing, like you enjoy something. You go and enjoy something, whether it's WWE, AEW. They go on about the crowd sizes. They go on about the lack of storytelling. It's not to their flavor. To that, I say, if you don't like if I'm watching AEW, for that matter, and you're coming along, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this match. Fuck you! You don't allowed to like this match. You know what I'm gonna say to you? and this is what definitely I'm going to tell you, to go fuck yourself. I'll watch whatever the fuck I want. I'm not going to be dictated by a fuckwit like you, whose parents don't love you, and probably don't give a shit about you, and for what? To go cheer for WWE, and all because it's a different style in the way they present it. That's all it is. They do a little bit. They're a bit more match orientated than it is. There's storytelling, and not to say there isn't storytelling in AEW as well. There is. I mean, there's so many people that people that are against AEW say there's no storytelling in the AEW shows. I don't think those people are watching it. And as far as the ratings and that are concerned, I mean, hey, look, let's look at that for a matter of fact. Let's look at it for it. One, who gives a fuck? Two, cable. It's on cable TV, and I'll say stuff in Australia because it's Australian terms. I used to do a lot of American terms, but since I'm in Australia, I haven't been doing the show as much, this show as much. I haven't had the reason to do a lot of Americanized words or things. If you can see with all the mates and telling people to go fuck themselves, that's a ongoing occurrence here in Australia. Like these cable networks, they're all of them are pretty much going away. For that matter, people are cutting the calls because you don't need the cable shows to get these shows. You can stream them legally, illegally. They're all going onto these streaming networks like Max. They're going on to WWE, going on Netflix. They have Hulu. They have out here. There's WWE on Binge. But that's the way people are going nowadays. And the fact that they renewed them, obviously the thing is with networks, they don't sign shows that like that with that much money if they don't think there's return on it. Obviously there's a big return on them, because both wrestling shows, whether it's WWE or AEW, are usually the highest rated shows on cable. I mean, that's not for nothing, you know. And yes, there's other shows. Oh, these rate better. No, none of them do rate better than a lot of the wrestling shows. And yes, they could be better at the same time. That's probably the sign of the times. In 5 to 10 years, we're probably not even going to have cable anymore. The pay TV format is going to be in streaming. That's the way they're going, and it's probably to the point where two major companies. So let's say there's Disney and there's Paramount. I don't know if there's a difference between the two, but let's just say that. I'm thinking Disney is going to be a big one, and I think it'll probably be Paramount will be the other. Or Warner Brothers, whatever. Maybe Max with WDB, the Warner Brothers. So I always think that my thing always comes back to Disney and Warner Brothers, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny. So eventually there's going to be two major streaming services, and it's like the monopoly thing. It's B versus WCW, and right now with WWE and AEW, like there's two different companies, and maybe there'll be one at one point. That's essentially where it'll go. It'll all go into streaming, which is essentially where everything's going. And once they get there, they can charge whatever they want. They can. What's going to happen is, and people talk about upping their prices. What will happen is they'll have a tier where when they want to compete, when they charge cheap and promise no ads, and that's how they monopolize. See, then they'll buy up all these other streaming services, and eventually they will go to they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. So at some point you might have, I guess if the big ones it'll be Netflix versus Disney, but say you might have Netflix Paramount, Disney Binge, or something like that going forward. Now I'm just throwing out names there. So that's essentially where things will go. So, and with streaming, you don't have to worry about ratings. What they have to worry about is views. And they obviously get the views. Because and the other thing about that is too, essentially at some point they'll have live components, and they will, and you could also replay the song. Like, you don't have to watch it live. And with Raw going to Netflix, there's meant to be a live component with it. I don't think there's going to be a live component right away. Maybe that becomes the first one with it, but I don't think it's going to be right away. I think it's going to be sometime leading from next year on, but I don't know if that's going to be right away. So you may have tape Raws for a little bit. Well, the problem is that won't matter, because they may release it on Monday, but then you don't have to watch it on Monday. You have it any time you want. And when you are left with the choice, that's where things are heading. Like, you can watch things from your bed. So WWE and AEW, they are going nowhere. Okay, folks. And you don't have to be right. You don't have to be wrong. Well, you can be wrong. And if you are wrong, who gives a stuff? Be wrong. Be fucking man enough or woman enough to fucking admit that you were wrong somewhere. And hey, I made these predictions out there, and if they're wrong, okay, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm gonna enjoy the fuck out of wrestling. Maybe you should too. Maybe, and these podcasters, this will probably get if it gets back to them, because you hear these ones going out there like JD from New York and all these other ones going off their fucking nut at shit for no reason. Like, you're not better than anybody. You never will be better than anybody. You're a fan just like everybody else, and that's what you want to state, and that's what you should be. Stop trying to put out content for clickbait, because you're just a fuckwit. That's all you are. That's all a lot of these people are. When they go out there and criticize you for watching stuff, they are just fuckwits. Go and enjoy it. Go enjoy Monday Night Raw. Go enjoy Dynamite. Go enjoy SmackDown. Go enjoy Impact. Go enjoy New Japan. Because you know what? I came up at a time when you had that fucking... I used to be a fan of it before it was popular with New Japan. Tape trading. Tape trading was a huge thing back in the day. When people came over to different companies, it wasn't this, oh, they're just using former WWE guys. It's like, oh my god, this guy's come over from WWE, or this guy's come to WCW. People had fun with it. Go have fun with wrestling. Stop making it this fucking political issue. Save that for the fucking polls, which you got to do in a couple of months. This is fucking wrestling. This is entertainment, folks. And hey, I thought I was going to be a lot angrier with this, but you know, I guess I was a little bit more pissed off with the video game than I was this. But I also added this. Also, I thought I'd better make it a bit of a show. I'm about 45 minutes in, and I think I've had enough. So thank you all for listening, because I've got to edit this shit. I hate editing long pieces, but I had to get this out there. And will there be another Sky Genie show? I don't know. I really don't care. I shouldn't say I don't care. But thank you all for listening. If you listen to this, thank you. As I said, will I do this again? Probably not. I wouldn't do it on a weekly basis. If I did, I might do some annually, yearly, or quarterly or something like that. But there's the thing. I don't really want to make a promise that I said I'm going to do something and I didn't stick to it, because I am pretty busy in my life now. As I said, the radio show does take up 7 days of my life, so I don't really have a lot of time to do the podcasting side of it. So if you listen to this, yes, my voice is going. I've been sick for the last week. So thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you later.
The Sky Genie Show.